unknown. The mother to Monica, Miriam Waruiru, said Monica earned an honest living. She says she has suffered depression and a stroke. She wants Irongo sentenced to death. And Solomon Kimani said he stopped watching news and trusting people. And the two families are split on what should happen today in court. And Monica's family are pushing to have High Court Judge Grace Nzioka to sentence Irongo, also known as Joey, to hang. And his former classmate and Monica's brother, George Kimani, says that he's a deceptive, violent and provocative man. And on the other hand, Irongo's mother and father and his priest are pleading with the court to give him a lenient sentence. And from a probation report filed before the court, Joey has a dual personality problem, and the pre-sentencing report paints Irongo as appears a man who led praise and worship in his home church in Nakuru. He even had plans to visit his parents for his former lover Jacqueline Maribe and ask for her hand in marriage. And according to the report, Irongo has lived with his parents since 2019 when he was released on bail until he was charged with Monica's murder that took place on September 18th, 2018 at Lamuria Garden Apartments. He was dating Maribe, who is the newly appointed head of communications at the Ministry of Public Service. And at the time, she worked for Citizen TV as a news anchor and political reporter. And the two lived in Royal Park Estate in Langata, where they co-shared the 65,000 rent. And Irongo worked as a security for top politicians in the country after undergoing tactical military training by Dubai Police Academy and Ogara Group. And before moving in with Maribe for a year, he lived with a friend in Nairobi's Buru Buru Estate. And he stated in the court report that his health challenge was asthma, which is triggered by dust and cold, a condition he has battled since childhood. And Irongo also said that a gunshot wound suffered in 2018 triggered a nerve problem and stiffness in the hand, which makes him depend on painkillers. And by the time he was arrested and arraigned for the murder, he was in the process of setting up his security company, saying he looked forward to excelling in music and uplifting his parents. He maintains he's innocent and saying he is deeply shocked to be linked to the murder and urges Justice Nzioka to be lenient in her sentence. And in his sentence, his parents, Julius Irongo and Anastasia Dhama, describe him as a committed church member. They describe Irongo as a social and one who easily makes friends, and maintain that their son is innocent. And his siblings, Samuel Mwangi, Gabriel Kamau, and Nelius Wanjiru, and his parents say they painfully accepted the conviction, but believe that Irongo is innocent and ask for leniency. They share deep empathy with Monica's family, and they hope that the real killer, who they say is still out there, will be known and brought to book. And he also urged the court to consider ensuring the family of Monica Kimani. The father said that the court should consider ensuring the family is given security since the motive of his daughter's death is still unknown. And the brother to Monica Kimani, by the name George, schooled together with Joey in the same school, and he says that Irongo's actions have robbed him of a sister and a business associate. And they schooled together at the Kenya Polytechnic, now Technical University of Kenya, in 2011. The communities where Irongo and Monica hail from are divided on the punishment that should be meted on him. And in Nakuru, they empathize with him, saying they only knew him as a committed church member. And Area Chief Samuel Masharia says Irongo is well-mannered, respectful, and is not a security threat, while Bishop Shadrach Olo pleads for leniency since Irongo related well with other Christians. And in Thika, where Monica's family currently resides, the community is calling for capital punishment. And today we are going to know Joey's fate as his family pleads for leniency and the family of Monica pleads for death penalty. Let's see how that story unfolds, because it has been pushed and pushed, and today we hope today is the last day for the same as well. And on to the other issue making headlines on our Kenyan newspaper is that Ruto walks a tight rope on Haiti mission, and the US has pledged more than 41 million to deploy officers to the war-torn country, but evacuated its citizens. At the same time, Ruto says it is a service to humanity, but the price could be too high for the police. And this is what President William Ruto says. He says the cry by our brothers and sisters who were the first people to win their struggle for freedom from colonial tyranny has reached our ears and touched our hearts. And the story is written in depth on the 6th page of the Standard newspaper. And clearly this is a story we really want to see how it goes, because we don't know what happens in future. And Kenya has found itself embroiled in Haiti's deepening crisis as it prepares to deploy 1,000 police officers to the troubled Caribbean nation amidst escalating gang violence and political turmoil. And the decision comes amidst cautious optimism and concerns from experts regarding the efficacy and implications of such deployment. And the United States on Monday pledged $41 billion, that's $300 million, to the Kenyan multinational security mission to Haiti, emphasizing the urgency of restoring stability in the region. And the Secretary of State Antony Blinken's announcement during a high-level Caribbean states meeting in Kingston, Jamaica, underscored the international community's commitment to addressing the crisis. And the resignation of Haiti's Prime Minister Ariel Henry following his inability to return to the country after signing a police deployment deal with Kenyan President William Ruto in Nairobi further complicates the situation, and the political fallout highlights the fragility of Haiti's leadership and the challenges facing efforts to restore order. And despite legal obstacles, including a court rejection of the initial proposal to send police officers to Haiti, Kenya remains steadfast in its commitment to lead the multinational security support mission sanctioned by the United Nations Security Council. And the Interior Cabinet Secretary for Kenya, Kithure Kindiki, had earlier affirmed Kenya's role as a lead nation in the mission, emphasizing the country's international obligations. And Kindiki disclosed that the mission was at the pre-deployment stage, and all other programs were in place, including laws of detention, arrest, standing operating procedures, and other measures. But Principal Secretary for Foreign Affairs Singoei Korir, speaking to BBC, has expressed some reservation. However, security experts have raised concerns regarding the sustainability of police deployment in addressing Haiti's complex security challenges. The other story making headlines on our Kenyan newspaper is that the Kenya Kwanza lawmakers successfully throw out all proposals by minority leader, and no reprieve over housing pay cuts. And senators yesterday yet again threw Kenyans under the bus after they shot down proposals that sought to cap housing levy deductions at 2,500, as well as peg the amount to be at 1.5% of an employee's net salary. This means workers and their employers would resume paying high rates when the bill becomes law. And the story is highlighted on the first page of the Daily Nation newspaper, written in depth on the 7th page of the same newspaper. And at a glance, the housing levy deductions are 2,500. The levy to be at a rate of 1.5% of the employee's net salary, and the exemptions for people with mortgages not considered part of the act, those living in rural areas with certificates of title in their names, persons engaged in agricultural, farming or business activities whose annual turnover is less than 228,000 per year. And President William Ruto yesterday was handed a major win in push to entrenchment the controversial housing levy after the Kenya Kwanza senators defeated amendments proposed by the minority side in Marathon House business that went on to just 5 minutes shy of 7 p.m. And senators allied to the president voted overwhelmingly to defeat amendments proposed by the minority side would have brought relief to many Kenyans. And reading the final results of the voting, Deputy Speaker Kadhuri Murungi said 27 senators voted to support the Affordable Housing Bill 2023 and approving the same with an amendments proposed by the government. And in their opposition, 10 Azimio la Umoja One Kenya senators rejected the bill as considered by the Committee of the Whole. However, 10 others who would have also voted were nowhere to be seen. Okay. Is it a trick by these people from the Azimio side, because they are never showing up during particular this important sittings? And moving amendments proposed by the minority side, Nyamira Senator Okong Omogeni wanted the deductions capped at 2,500. He also wanted the levy to be paid at the rate of 1.5% of the net salary of an employee. The bill proposes that the levy be pegged on the gross salary of an employee or any gross income received or accrued that is not salary. And the senator also wanted the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary to exempt from payment of the levy any person who enters into a subsisting mortgage that is not contemplated under the Act, any person residing in the rural area and is in a possession of a certificate of title registration in their name, and any person engaged in agricultural, farming or business activities whose annual turnover is less than 288,000 per year. But unfortunately, ni kama hizo mapendekeo yao yaligonga mwamba. And the other story making headlines on our Kenya newspaper is an issue of investigation and officials' cash and property frozen in graft probe. And the High Court has frozen assets, among them 106 parcels of land, 17 vehicles and cash belonging to senior official at the Ministry of Lands suspected to have been acquired corruptly. And Justice Esther Maina allowed the EACC to preserve the properties belonging to Mr. Felix Mecha Nyakundi for 6 months. And the amount of money that the police found is 4.6 million that detectives found on Mr. Nyakundi during the raid on his home. 17 vehicles, some of them high-end, that were owned by Mr. Nyakundi. 106 parcels of land in various parts of the country owned by the land registrar. The story is written in depth on the 6th page and the 6th page of the Daily Nation newspaper. There's so many and much more stories making headlines on our Kenya newspapers, but we cannot highlight all of them. So it's here to grab a copy of the Daily Nation newspaper and the Standard newspaper to shed light on the stories that we have highlighted, and as well as get to read more on these newspapers, because I cannot exhaust this newspaper, all the stories in these particular newspapers. So we're going to be taking our first commercial break here on Faraja TV. Later on, we're coming back with a Do You Know session, and we get to learn about endometriosis. As I mentioned earlier, you can send us your question. I'm not a health expert, but the knowledge, at least I'll make people aware of what endometriosis is and when to get checked, because it's a monster that has been traumatizing women, and it's something we need to be aware of. And after this short commercial break, we'll be back with that and much more. So please keep it Faraja TV and don't change the dial. We'll be back.
Faraja TV, chemichemi ya furaha.
Usiku na mchana nakupa sifa, day and night, Lord.
Praise God, our viewers. From wherever you're watching us from, we love you, we cherish you. I, Jack Favor, together with DJ Tish, will be bringing you Nuru ya Injili Gospel Show every Sunday from 6 to 10 a.m. I will be bringing you different inspired ministers of the word, amazing guests and artists that will grace the show. You will also be having an opportunity to greet and waking up your friend, as well as sending your song request that will be playing for you right here on Faraja TV. Hii si ya kukosa. Tupatane kila Jumapili, tubarikiwe pamoja. God bless.
Kwa majina ni John Mragori, ninaokuletea program ya uzima wa kiroho na nidhamu, na programu yetu ya kujia mnamo siku ya kila Jumapili saa 1:30 katika runinga yetu ya Faraja TV, chemichemi ya furaha. Karibu sana, karibu pamoja, tushirikiane katika uzima wa kiroho na nidhamu. Karibuni na mbarikiwe sana. God bless you. God see you.
Yo, welcome guys to the biggest and most exciting show in the 254, where we bring you exciting topics, great music, your favorite artists, and good times.
Join us each and every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Faraja Mashup. It's your boy Big Man Kyuga.
And your boy Big Willie, aka the Big Kahuna.
Faraja TV, chemichemi ya furaha.
Usiku na mchana nakupa sifa, day and night, Lord.
Praise God, our viewers. From wherever you're watching us from, we love you, we cherish you. I, Jack Favor, together with DJ Tish, will be bringing you Nuru ya Injili Gospel Show every Sunday from 6 to 10 a.m. I will be bringing you different inspired ministers of the word, amazing guests and artists that will grace the show. You will also be having an opportunity to greet and waking up your friend, as well as sending your song request that will be playing for you right here on Faraja TV. Hii si ya kukosa. Tupatane kila Jumapili, tubarikiwe pamoja. God bless.
Kwa majina ni John Mragori, ninaokuletea program ya uzima wa kiroho na nidhamu, na programu yetu ya kujia mnamo siku ya kila Jumapili saa 1:30 katika runinga yetu ya Faraja TV, chemichemi ya furaha. Karibu sana, karibu pamoja, tushirikiane katika uzima wa kiroho na nidhamu. Karibuni na mbarikiwe sana. God bless you. God see you.
Yo, welcome guys to the biggest and most exciting show in the 254, where we bring you exciting topics, great music, your favorite artists, and good times.
Join us each and every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Faraja Mashup. It's your boy Big Man Kyuga.
And your boy Big Willie, aka the Big Kahuna.
Faraja TV, Chemichemi ya Furaha.
Month is Endometriosis Awareness Month, and I have a short message for everyone, every lady out there fighting endometriosis. Number one, you need to understand that endometriosis it's a disease affecting women mostly, because it's, as I'll tell you more about it, but it affects women. And a message to you fighting endometriosis is that keep pushing forward even on the toughest days. You're stronger than you know, and you are not alone in the battle. Your resilience and courage inspires others, and stay hopeful, stay strong, and know that better days are ahead. You got this. So just a brief explanation. I said I'm not a medic, but at least I can highlight some of the things about research I did about endometriosis. And endometriosis is a chronic and often painful condition where tissues similar to the lining inside the uterus, that the endometrium, grows outside the uterus, and this tissue can be found on organs like the ovaries, fallopian tubes, and the tissues lining the pelvis. You see a tissue that's supposed to be inside the uterus now grows outside the uterus, and also goes to other parts like the ovaries, the fallopian tubes, and the tissue lining the pelvis. So, and the common symptoms include pelvic pains, especially during the menstruation period, and pain during intercourse, heavy menstrual bleeding, infertility, fatigue, and gastrointestinal issues. This program is not to make you feel like, you know, you can be having maybe some of these signs and you feel like, I'm just creating awareness. I want you to be self-aware, understand when you need to seek medical attention, because at times we never know what's happening with our bodies, and those are just a few symptoms of the same. And the diagnosis often involves a combination of medical history, physical examination, imaging tests like the ultrasound, and sometimes laparoscopy, a surgical procedure to visually confirm the presence of the endometrial tissue outside the uterus. And the exact causes of endometriosis is unknown. They are actually unknown, but potential factors may include hormonal imbalance, genetic predisposition, immune system dysfunction, and retrograde menstruation. And what retrograde menstruation means is when the menstrual blood flows back through the fallopian tubes into the pelvic cavity. And the treatment options aim to manage symptoms and may include pain, medication, hormonal therapy such as birth control pills, and surgery to remove the endometrial implants or scar tissue, and in some other cases, assisted reproductive technologies for fertility. That's the treatment for endometriosis, and the impact is the endometriosis can significantly impact quality of life, affecting physical and emotional well-being of a person. It affects relationships and work productivity and fertility. We've been in the online space and we've seen women suffer, and not unless around an environment where people understand you, at times it becomes difficult even to work, because you find that that lady, most of the times, she's actually away because anytime these tissues can be so painful. And you know, once I'm in pain, I'm not able to work proactively or productively, because how will I work in pain? And how to manage this particular monster? Since there is no cure for endometriosis, various strategies can help manage the symptoms and improve quality of life, including pain management techniques, lifestyle changes, and ongoing medical care. And I'd tell people that it is essential for individuals experiencing symptoms of endometriosis to seek medical evaluation and discuss treatment options with a healthcare professional, and early diagnosis and management can help alleviate symptoms and improve outcomes. So if detected earlier, the better. But you see, this is something you have to, it's rare that you get to know when you are such a young girl whether you're going to be affected by the endometriosis monster. But maybe it gets to a point during your adolescent stage that is when you're likely to realize, because that's when you're experiencing those body changes, that's when you're having your menstrual period. So that's the time you'll know these cramps are extremely painful. I don't know why, and I hope that everybody battling endometriosis out there stand strong, because you are an overcomer and you're going to overcome this particular monster. And maybe by the help of our producer, that was the end of that particular segment of the endometriosis awareness. And the other segment is of healthy dieting. Yesterday I attended a conference by Gain Kenya here in Nakuru County with a colleague of mine as well, and we learned a few things. And some of the few things that we learned, the Gain Kenya is really pushing for people to eat healthy foods, you know, and they gave a very good illustration of how we enjoy beef samosas, chicken samosas, and ignore like the vegetable samosas. Maybe you can tell us, in your opinion, when going to that market, when going to, for people in Nakuru, when you go to a Kulima market or free area market, what do you look when buying vegetables or purchasing your vegetables? Like for example, unaangalia like umepata mboga pale, what do you look in that cabbage, ndio ununue that cabbage in that market? And I'd really love to know, because it's quite an interesting conversation, because I learned a lot, and today I'd like to share a few things that I learned, and today I'll be highlighting on a few types of vegetables. And the few types of vegetables that I learned yesterday, there are leafy vegetables, and for the leafy vegetables, number one, hizo ni kama the kunde, the managus, the terere, the sukuma wikis, the spinach. You see zenye ziko the green leafy vegetables, you can, ziko na leaves, they have so many leaflets, and that's why I mentioned akina managu, kunde, sageti, spinach, skuma. They are leafy and they are green vegetables. And there was a question that arose, where do you classify a cabbage? Because utapata cabbage ni white na some parts are green, so where do you classify a cabbage? That's a question I'd love you to respond to, and that's on our SMS line on 0703 339 959. Another category of vegetables is the ingredient vegetables. For the ingredient vegetables, we have the capsicum. By capsicum I mean hoho, kuna hoho, kuna dania. You see those two ingredients that you put into your food in terms of vegetables. Na unashangaa hizo viungo vya kupika, but you know something I realized is that for the onion and the garlic, the ginger, they are not among the ingredients vegetables. They are among the flavorful vegetables. Kuna the dania, the kitunguu saumu, onions, all types of onions, that is the spring onions, the white onions. And it was a quite interesting conversation. The question popped up, and I remember that particular question. It's something I don't know. We have a myth about cabbages. Most people have a myth about cabbages, and cabbage is very, 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 very important. I don't know why people sideline cabbage in their meals, but cabbages are very, very, very important, you know. And we're discussing on the impact that cabbages have to our bodies, and what the impact the greens have to our bodies. The two of them are very okay to have them. They are very okay to have them because the myths that people have about cabbage should actually change kabisa. And what I loved about Gain Kenya is that they'll make you change your perspective about some other vegetables that you always have in your mind because of the assumptions of people, and they can really teach you how to. They offer road shows where they even give you recipes on how to prepare delicious and sumptuous meal of cabbage. Can you imagine enjoying a samosa with a filling of cabbages? Yeah, I know, I understand the look on your face and the shock on your face when I'm saying that, but they offer those recipes. They have roadshows and they show you how to prepare those samosa vegetables. And a question also popped up about why we are told by the doctors, especially pregnant women, take a lot of greens in your food. And you know, some of us are stranded, and I remember it's because we were told that the greens help us to have iron, and that iron helps us create more blood as women to our babies in our wombs. And it was a quite interesting conversation that I really, really enjoyed. And the other segment of the same discussion, they also told us when you don't watch your diet as at this time and later on, then if you don't make good food a habit, then your medicine, you taking medicine will become a daily routine. Because if you don't watch out on your diet, then what are the repercussions of not taking a healthy diet? You know, we run for pizzas, we run for KFC chicken, we say kukula mboga za kienyeji ama kukula the vegetables is ni mambo za zamani, you see. And we are supposed to eat healthy, especially watching our diet in terms of what we take as vitamins, minerals, and where we can find, you know, we lack the knowledge of where we can find these particular minerals and vitamins from what foods. How should you portion your food? And I think in future we're going to make arrangements for the same people to come here and teach us more on the importance of healthy dieting. And that's just an overview of what I learned yesterday. There's so much more that we can talk about healthy eating, and you can always visit their social media handles on Gain Kenya, and you're going to have a few things you can learn from them, and maybe get to know when they have road shows and when they have those particular trainings on healthy eating, especially in various communities. And they have an office here in Nakuru, and we are looking forward to more partnerships with Gain Kenya here as Faraja TV, because we need to enlighten people on why they should eat healthy now to prevent hizo magonjwa zenye zinakujanga thereafter because of poor dieting and poor eating habits. So that's all we had for today on the Don't Dialogue Show. Hadi kesho. See you then and have a fruitful day. Bye bye.
Faraja TV, chemichemi ya furaha.
Usiku na mchana nakupa sifa, day and night, Lord.
Praise God, our viewers. From wherever you're watching us from, we love you, we cherish you. I, Jack Favor, together with DJ Tish, will be bringing you Nuru ya Injili Gospel Show every Sunday from 6 to 10 a.m. I will be bringing you different inspired ministers of the word, amazing guests and artists that will grace the show. You will also be having an opportunity to greet and waking up your friend, as well as sending a song request that will be playing for you right here on Faraja TV. Hii si ya kukosa. Tupatane kila Jumapili, tubarikiwe pamoja. God bless.